Mm. Oh, that's good. And so you taking some final exam this week or next week?
Yes. Yeah, I have some final exams. I just had one yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have like another final presentation due and a final paper due tomorrow.
Hi, Kelly. Can you hear me, Kelly?
Hi.
Hi. So you do the presentation today, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm going to do my presentation today for everyone who logs on.
So what is your topic?
My topic is over the 4 yogas in Hinduism.
Okay, good. Okay, that's great. Let me see your rate then. Okay, let me see what you miss. What, your last name?
Dodgen, Dodgen.
Okay, let me see here. Okay.
I'll have to email you my weekly discussion question still for week 15 because I emailed you earlier because it's submitted when I was typing in the title for it. I figured out how to make a new thread though, so if you'd rather me post it in the thread so other people can reply to it.
The portion
Okay.
of that is better for me to keep track.
Okay.
We have more than, I think, around 43 students here. And
yeah.
It's almost 100 students, so I couldn't keep track with that. Anyway, you guys got my email, right? The second one I just sent, the evaluation form.
Forward. Yeah.
Evaluation form.
Yeah, so yeah, I got that.
And the copyright form.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
For you, Kelly.
Yeah.
Angelica, too. If you like to give me the copyright, I mean that use your presentation or let's see whichever material. I mean that the thing that you submit to me. If I think is good, like if you allow me to share with others, you can say that. Otherwise, it's up to you.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So can you print out that forms?
Yeah, I can print that.
Evaluation form as well as the copyright form, and so you fill out after you fill out, just scan and email back to me.
Yeah, I can do that tonight.
Yeah. Okay, Angelica, you follow me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. So far, Kelly. So far, let's see. You missed some, right?
I'm sorry.
You missed some assignment, right? How many assignments have you not sent to me?
Well, I submitted the reading responses, the 2 that were due yesterday. I submitted them earlier today, so those might be late. And then the last thing I have to do is the question 15, weekly question for Shintoism.
Okay, good then.
And then there's like a place for like a spring break grade in Blackboard under our grades, but I didn't see anything like to submit anywhere. I think it's just like a placeholder maybe.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Yeah. And you guys remember that I allow you guys to have at most 30 extra points if you post some relevant articles. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
I was the one who emailed you the question the first time.
What is that?
I was the person who emailed you the question asking about the extra credit points.
Oh yeah. How many points have you received now, up to now, Angelica?
In total, well, with the 30 from the articles and then 15 from the meetings.
And I think you got some extra point because you were one of the winners last time, right?
Yeah, so a couple.
Yeah. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
How you been?
I'm good. How are you?
Right. So you ready to do a presentation today?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. What's the topic?
I did Confucianism.
Oh, good then. You see the form? You see the evaluation
Yeah.
form
Yeah, I got that.
and the copyright form. And
Yes.
if you can, print them out and fill them. After that, you can send back to me by email.
Okay. You
Especially,
need it by today?
anything. Yeah, it's better. As soon as better.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Mm. Stephanie, let me see how. What's your last? Okay, I see that your last name event H, right?
Right.
Okay. Let's see here. Wow, you missed some, right? You missed
I
some.
missed somewhat.
You missed some assignment.
No, I did them all.
You sure? How about week
Yeah.
one?
I have
Oh,
all
sorry,
my
sorry,
grades on
sorry,
my.
sorry. I looked on different. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
sorry. Yeah, yeah. And so far, you do pretty good. Let's see here. How about week 9? Week 9. You have.
But wasn't that spring break?
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 All right. Let's see here.
Let me see.
Okay, so you are all right. All right, and so far you do pretty good.
Yeah,
And
I've turned in every assignment.
good then. And you do any kind of extra credit?
Yeah, I did a few. Oh, and I was gonna ask you, for the first 2 online meetings,
Mm-hmm.
I got 3rd place, but I don't think, or did you post the points for the second online meeting for
I
the
will
extra
check it out
credit?
later on because sometimes it's messed up. So at first, I want to make sure that actually I record everything. Don't worry. Yeah, yeah. Let me see here. Sorry. Okay. I mean that your extra point is still there. Don't worry. Because
Okay.
of course I want to add. Actually, don't worry. I will add towards your final grade at the end of the semester.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Welcome. Hi, Mr. Carter. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You don't do your presentation today, right?
No, not on the meeting.
Oh, okay. You done with your recording yet?
I recorded it, and I'm just going to use the screen cap thing to put the presentation and the slideshow in one thing.
That's good then. So you got an example of my students?
Yes, sir.
It's pretty easy. It's easy to record.
I mean, it's easy if you have the computer stuff to do it, I guess.
Oh, okay. Let me see. What's your last name?
Carter.
Carter. Okay, let me see here. Okay, wow. Let me see here. Oh, you behind some, right? You miss some assignment. You have not turned it in yet, right?
For which one?
Let me see here. Weekly course in week 8. You check it. Week 8. Week 15. That's been this week. Run respond 3, 4. Oh boy, what happened? 10, 11, 12. Is that right?
Maybe.
Just open your rate. Yeah, open your rate and see if it.
Oh, yeah, some of those I do miss, but I do whatever I can.
Yeah, try to finish up on this weekend and the other one
Yes.
too. Yeah. Let's see. 25, 26 too. Let's see. You done first field trip, second field trip, title, and so far it's okay. But with those, you try to send everything by this weekend, okay? So
All
you
right,
can do properly.
everything I haven't done, I'll try to throw it in.
Yeah. But you for your presentation, you almost done?
My presentation, I am done. I recorded the vocal. I just need to put that with the slideshow through the screencast because you said you wanted the screen and the
Yes, I want to
face.
see your appearance, not the PowerPoint alone, not picture alone.
Yeah, so I'm putting those together, but I already recorded.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm done
good
with that
then.
part.
Okay, so you did try.
I have a question.
Yes, hi.
Hi. So while I was recording mine, I used my phone to record myself presenting with the presentation on my TV. My phone kept turning off, so I kept losing all my work. So to avoid this, I did it in sections, and I'm going to meld that together, but there's going to be cuts. I just wanted to see if that was going to be okay.
Well, do you have webcam for your computer? You can record directly to computer. Can you do that?
Yeah, but I already made my whole presentation. It's just it's in 3 parts, so I'm going to edit it all together.
That's okay. That's fine. You upload on YouTube, right? And you combine them
Yes,
together.
I'll upload it on YouTube.
What's that?
Yes, I'll upload it on YouTube.
Oh, that's good then. What's your last name, Brianna?
Davis.
David. Let me see how. And so far, you do it's okay, right?
Yeah, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Good. You do any have extra credit?
Yes, I've been doing it almost every week, I think.
Oh, good. So you have extra then.
Yes. I was gonna ask, can we? I guess we can't do the extra credit for weeks that have already passed that we didn't.
But should be relevant to that week, and let
Yes, to the week.
you have to indicate that the articles is related to that week. For example, if you go back to week 3, I don't know, is that in Buddhism, right? And you have to pick up that or find that articles that relate to that week.
Okay.
Good. Hi, Sifa. How you been? Hi, Sifa. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. What's for her last name, Sifa?
Ali.
Ali. Your last name?
Ali. A-L-I.
Oh, I. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me see here. And so far, you doing okay?
Yes.
You missed any assignment?
Not that I'm aware of. No, I think I've kept up with all the assignments.
Oh, good then. You don't do presentation today, right?
No, I'm submitting it tonight.
You know how to record? You know how to record your presentation now?
Yes.
Have you tried that yet?
Yes, I've tried it once. I think I've done it in a class before, so I'm pretty familiar with it.
Oh, good. So be careful. Oh, yeah. About hi, Rukaya.
Hi, sir.
Yes. You done with your presentation yet?
Yes, sir. I submitted it last night.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yes, sir.
Let me see. I have no time. I don't have time to check it out. With your appearance, right? Like you give the presentation
Yes.
to people, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. What's the topic?
My topic was comparing and contrasting Mahayana Buddhism with Theravada Buddhism.
Oh, because you took my class last semester.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me see.
Yep.
What's your last name, Rukaya?
Syed, S-Y-E-D.
Yes. Let me see how you do in the class. And so far you doing okay?
I'm sorry?
And so far you do okay. You miss anyone? Any assignment?
I don't think I missed anything.
Let me see here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. You did some extra credit?
Extra credit. I got extra credit during the Kahoot.
Oh, okay, okay. But
Yeah.
you have not paused anything for earning extra credit, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. This is your choice. Hi, Jackie. Can you hear me, Jackie?
Sorry. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. What's your last name is Lee, huh?
Liao, yeah.
Wow, you behind a lot, right, Lee? Like Jackie?
I'm sorry?
You behind a lot, right?
Yeah, I'm getting everything in.
Yeah, try,
So,
okay?
okay.
You
I'm
record
sorry.
your presentation yet?
Yes, I'm going to upload it after we're done with this.
Good. What's the topic?
The Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path.
Good. Yeah, okay. So you're really behind, okay?
Okay.
Try to finish up everything because otherwise I don't have time to rate your paper
Yes.
and give you the proper rate, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
When do you want everything in by?
Yeah, please, by this weekend.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
After that, I may not have much time.
Okay,
Hi,
I understand.
Hi, Tiên, how you been? We cannot hear you.
Hi, yeah, I'm doing okay. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Can you speak loudly?
Hello? Yes, you can hear me?
Yeah, so you ready for your presentation today?
Yeah, just give me a moment. Yeah, I get my headphone.
Hi, Mr. What do you call Weber, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you done your recording the presentation yet?
Yes, sir. I'm done with my presentation. I'm actually going to go to the school because I can't upload it using my wireless at home. It takes forever. I need a hard wire. So I'm going to go into my office and do it from there where I have a landline to actually do it because you can't. This is a note for everyone. If you're trying to do it from home using a wireless system, it's going to take a while.
Oh, okay. You missed some assignment, right?
Yes, sir. It's the second half. I sent an email about that.
Yeah. You missed a lot, right?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to play catch up tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, and second field trip, you done with your second field trip yet?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good.
I already went to the Vietnamese temple.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
Good. Okay. Hi, Kimberly. Kimberly, how you doing?
Doctor. Hi, Professor. How are you?
Okay. So I got your presentation. You did pretty good for your presentation, Kimberly.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But you still behind some assignment, right?
No, I'm all caught up. I did reading response 26 and 27, and I did the last two sessions. I don't think I have anything outstanding.
Well, what's your last name, Kimberly? What's your last name?
Ibidapo, I-B-I-D-A-P-O.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. Hi, Lauren. How you been? Lauren,
Lauren? Sorry, I muted myself.
Oh, okay. Let's see who. Let me go back here. Who will do presentation? We start time. Since I'm concerned that we may not have much time to do presentation. Let's see. Oh, Kelly's not here. Oh, Kelly, Tiffany, you here, Tiffany?
Yes.
You ready for your presentation?
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not. You sent the email saying everyone else's name, but my name wasn't on it. So I didn't think you wanted me to do it today.
Oh, okay. Actually, Stephanie told me that you sign up. I forgot. All right, it's okay. All right. Okay, let me see. We have. Let me go back here. I will show you guys here. I will show you guys. Let's see here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
This is a little bit funny, but this is what they call the sprint, wheel sprinting. And let me see here. So Stephanie here, right? Thiên here, Kaylee here. Jasmine, are you here? Not yet. This is just a sprint that I just play for you. It's just a sprint. So who can start first? Let's say, Carrie. Carrie, are you here? Oh. Let me see here. Let me turn off this one first. Okay, while you guys waiting for me, you guys got my email, right? Please, if you could download the what do you call it? Evaluation form. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Evaluation form and okay, and the copyright form. If you allow me to use your that presentation or anything that relevant to educational purposes, if you allow me to do so, you can sign. Otherwise, it's up to you. Okay, for that, the second form. All right, and for the evaluation form, you can contact me whichever way. Okay. All right. So we see we have.
What if we did the evaluation?
Excuse me.
What if we did the evaluation online? Do we still have to do the paper one?
Yeah, that is up to you. That's just for my personal choice.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine.
If you done online, that's fine with me. But it's for my personal.
Okay.
So that they can use this as a reference. All right. Let's see how many people here. We have 18.
Okay.
All right. You guys ready? Who is this? Okay. Today we won't have the Kahoot test because I'm concerned that we don't have time. We may not have time for some student to do presentation. So we have Kelly, Stephanie, Thiên, and who else? Jasmine, right? Jasmine's here.
Did you say my name, Kelly?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's see. Let me. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let me see. Before going to have the presentation, anyone of you have question for me?
I have one question.
Yeah.
So the PowerPoint, do you want us to turn that in separately at any place as well?
Actually, the most important thing is your presentation.
Okay.
PowerPoint is just an extra. I want to see your actual appearance that you you do in front of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So some students just pause the picture or image together with PowerPoint is not enough, right? So like you do in the in front of people. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. So you guys don't have any problem to record your presentation?
No.
Any problems? But some of my students from different classes, they have problem to record.
How are people like recording?
Huh?
Can some people give you some ideas of how they actually record?
Yeah, Kimberly, would you give her some idea?
Yeah, so I'm the president of PsyChi, the Psychology Honors Club on campus. So I guess I'm a little special. The room where we have our meetings, I have a huge overhead. And so what I pretty much did is I used my Mac. I used QuickTime. I don't know if you have a Mac. I used QuickTime as the camera, and I recorded myself with the LCD screen in the background. Now you just use iMovie to edit it out. But I know on the campus in the library, the big groups on like the 3rd and 4th floor, they have the LCD screen. So maybe if you can go to the library and see if you can use, like, say, can I just use the group rooms for an hour to record myself with like your Mac or your PC? But that's what I did. But I guess I'm a little special case just because I had the opportunity to already have a big screen in the back. But if you guys want it, you guys can email me and I can see if I could reserve it for you. But I have easy access to it just because I'm the president of it. But if you need like a big LCD, you can email me and I can see if I could help you out. But it's due today, so I don't know if
That's okay.
I don't know if you still need it.
Yeah, that's okay. If you try on this weekend, that's fine with me. Okay. Yeah.
Was there anybody that did it any other way besides with a big screen, like at home?
I haven't. I did something like that. So if you have an HDMI hookup on your TV and an HDMI cord, you can just hook it to your laptop and just sit by your TV. And I just propped my phone up and like recorded a video and just went and sat down and just edit the video down. And you can present with your whole presentation on your TV.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
It was really easy, and it like makes it. Because I was kind of didn't want to have to edit the screen cap because it only goes for 15 minutes, and then I didn't know how I was going to do that, make it 20 minutes, so I decided to just do it that way.
So you record directly to the YouTube, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So they allow you to go beyond 30 minutes or less than that?
Oh, no. I just used my iPhone. I just put the camera on and kind of propped it up on a table like this, with like a book behind it, and just clicked record, and then just walked over there and did the presentation. And then when I was done, just go back to your phone and click stop.
I'm sorry.
The issue with the 15 minutes I found is you have to verify your YouTube account to upload more than 15 minutes. And that's just them making sure that you're you. So they just send you a code to your phone or they call you. So I thought I was completely screwed. Excuse my language. But you just have to verify your account and you should be good to go. That's an issue. But it's a pretty straightforward. You can just Google.
Okay, any question before they do the presentation? Any question? Okay, so let's.
Yes, I have one question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So can I leave a little bit early today, or I have to stay the whole time?
No.
Like from 8
So you want to go first so that can leave early?
Yes. Yeah, I can go.
All right, go ahead. I think start with you then. Go ahead. So
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So in meantime, while they do the presentation, if you can please try to reduce the background noises.
Yes.
Everyone's just themselves, honestly.
For out respect, out of courtesy, okay? So go ahead, it's your times. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So, do I have to share the PowerPoint with the class, or
can you know how to share?
Can you yeah, let me see. Share screen, right?
Yeah, you share screen and come back and forth, okay? Otherwise we miss you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whenever you talk, you just turn off the share, and when you want to show the screen, you can go back to the screen. I mean the PowerPoints.
Okay. Sorry, just be patient with me a little bit.
Yeah, while she working on that. So anyone of you have question? So if you want to talk with me about your grade after that, after this class, you can stay back, okay? Yeah. Any question about your grade?
Professor, how much percent is this presentation? Like how much percent, what's the weight?
Is that one? I forgot the points. Let me see here.
Because this is the last thing that I have for this class, and then that'll be it. So I just want to know what my grade would be as soon as possible.
What was that?
This is the last thing I need graded for the class. So I just want to see what my grade would be if possible.
Oh, your grade?
No. I'm just saying, how much does this weigh?
I thought it was like 100 points on the syllabus.
Out of 1,000?
100.
Out of what?
Okay.
On Blackboard, it just says like out of 100 points.
Okay.
So it's like, so it's our final, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there's like 500 and something points in the whole class.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, on the syllabus it says out of 500, but on Blackboard, whenever you add everything up, it doesn't, I don't think it equals 500.
Exactly.
But this one is weighed the most out of 100 points, I think.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone can see my screen now, or?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Kathleen, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
before you share the screen, just introduce yourself and your topic and so forth.
Oh, okay, sure. Oops. I think everyone can see my screen now.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Tien Huang, and today I would like to present about yoga. So yes, the question that I have for my project is the yoga is an exercise practice or a religious practice. So that's the background of my project today. Okay. So everyone can see my PowerPoint yet?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So I will start my presentation today. So as you guys know, like today, when we talk about yoga, and we just think about the gym, right? So everyone thinking that yoga is an exercise. So that's why they have many yoga classes that's offered by many gyms around the world, not just America. And the yoga form it's like it's have different view depend on what are you think of and what are you come from with. So for example, they have Christian yoga actually, but a lot of Christians don't think that that yoga, like they don't think that Christian yoga is the right thing. So now I will go deep into what really yoga is. So for the introduction, what does the word yoga actually mean? So according to the text in the book, we will know that the yoga means to unite one spirit to the divine. So the origin of yoga is from Hinduism. And the purpose of yoga is to unite with the divine and to liberation, to reach to the liberation. Okay. And for more about the history of the yoga, it's in the 3rd century BCE, the Patanjali's yoga was found. So they have the yoga include the moral. They have involved moral, mental, physical discipline, and meditation. So for the views and arm of the liberation, they have two big options. The first is the teacher Sankara. That's the teacher like a guru in Hinduism. So they think that the liberation is when the person acknowledge that she or he is God. So the human soul for them is the human soul is the same with the divine. So the highest of yoga is to reach that the final stage is to know that you are God. And the other school, they think about different view. That human being is different from a divine. So for them, the liberation is someone is close to God. So the yoga will help to close to God, but not acknowledge that you are God. So there is type of yoga. So the Banthalagist yoga is the meditation and concentration. And in Hinduism, it's called Hyana. Am I saying it right? Hyana. So that's postures of the body, and it includes the breath control. It's called pranayama, and the mental detachment. So you try to, when you practice this yoga, you just basically you try to detach yourself from the mental, not thinking other things, just like stay focused. And the Hyana leads to the Samahi, the Samadhi. So the Samadhi is the final stage of the liberation and the union with the divine of one soul. So nowadays they have two recent type of yoga. So the Raya yoga is the mental discipline, and the Hatha yoga. Okay. So the Hatha yoga is the way of knowledge. It's gaining wisdom by learning the text. It's a control and control and the bodily for sure. So come back to the liberation. So there are three ways to lead to the liberation. It's Karma yoga. It's the way of actions. This means you have good actions without any expectation. So for example, you do something good for others, but you don't expect that they pay you back. Or if you don't doing good for that person, you don't fear of the punishment that you have later on. So just doing good is. So the second is the Jnana yoga. It's the ways of knowledge. It's gaining wisdom from learning the text from a guru, or meditation, physical or mental control. And the third way is the Bhakti yoga. It's the way of devotion. So for this one, they don't require the. I'm sorry, kind of distraction. Okay, so it's just the way for the devotion. They don't require to have the way of actions like Karma yoga, or they don't need to gain wisdom as the Jnana yoga. So from that knowledge that I have been researched, and I come up with the conclusion that the meditation and the pursuit leads to the arm of yoga. So therefore, the answer is no. It cannot be an exercise only, but that's actually the religious practice. So basically, when you practice yoga, you practice Hinduism religion. And there, the group right now, they try to mention that yoga is from Hindu, of the Hindu people. They try to get yoga into the right way. So so for finally, I can say that based on the information above, yoga is a religious practice because practice yoga is lead to the way to liberation and to unite with the divine. So therefore, it cannot separate. Again, it cannot separate into exercise parts or religious part. That mean yoga belong to Hinduism. It cannot be separate. So, do you have any question for me? I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous.
Okay. Any question for her? Can you come back? Can you? Yeah. Can you?
You did great. Don't be nervous.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Just turn off the share screen.
Yeah.
And go back to the original one. Turn off the share screen.
Yeah. Yes. Let me turn this one off first.
Yeah. I think. Let me see here. Any question for her? Who practice yoga? Oh, any question for her?
Do you have any question for me or any comment?
No, I do believe so. I feel like sometimes when I really get into a really deep state, I do feel like it's kind of like a spiritual experience. I kind of feel like out of body in a sense. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen a lot. Everything has to be right. Like I do a lot of yoga in class. It's very hard to me to do yoga at home just because I get very distracted. But if the instructor is right and if the classmates are right and the environment and the temperature is right, and I really do feel like I'm in a sort of trance. So I completely agree. Yeah, it is honestly a religious experience to an extent.
Oh,
Definitely.
thank you for your sharing. Yeah.
And I don't want to say too much because my topic for my presentation I'm presenting today is also over the 4 yoga. So like a lot of our stuff's going to overlap, which I think is a good thing. But I just want to say like, because I also practice yoga, I've never like been to an actual like class. Like the closest thing to like a physical posture, like a Raja yoga class that I've been to was at Lone Star. When I went there, other classes I've been in have like been like meditation more focused classes, and then like any other like physical postures I've kind of like looked up on my own and tried to practice on my own. And then I've also taken classes at U of H. Like I've taken Intro to Hinduism and this class, and I'm in yoga and philosophy right now, and it's very interesting. And so I highly recommend taking that class if you're interested in the subject itself. It's a really great class. But,
what class is that again, please?
Yoga and philosophy.
Oh,
I think it's 33,
yoga and
55.
philosophy.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a religious studies class.
Do you practice yoga at all, or just in class?
I do practice yoga on my own time. Sometimes I'll do like physical postures, like if I'm feeling sore. A lot of times it's like breathing exercises because I have like anxiety and other things that happen. So really it's helped me in
sort of therapy, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely therapeutic, 100%. Yeah.
So in yoga and philosophy class, do you practice yoga, or is it more researching the connection between yoga and philosophy? Or do you
it's a little bit of both. Like, so we actually read Panjali's 8 yoga limbs, and it was really great, or like a version of it at least. And then, so we did do like asanas, like physical postures in the class and stuff, which is really cool. But we'd mainly do like pranayamas and pranayama and breathing exercises, and like Brahmandi, where you like chant, but you like close your ears and your eyes so you can like feel the vibration in your head. And so we do that a lot, and it's just a really great class all around. I think Dr. Kanogia, I don't know if any of you guys have ever taken her, but she's awesome. So
I'm graduating, so I wish I could take it.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Any question?
No pressure.
Any question for Ting? Any more question for Ting? All right, before we move on, I'd like to call the roll, okay? Otherwise, because we don't use any Kahoot today, I'm concerned that we don't have much time to play with the Kahoot. So I just call the roll, okay? Attendance. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, Brittany, are you here? Brittany? Brittany?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Brittany, okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, please. Otherwise you miss 10 points.
I had good speech.
All right, Sifa, right? You here, right, Sifa?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Kojo, Mr. Kojo, are you here?
I'm here. I'm here.
Yes.
You heard me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Asfar, are you here? Asfar? Melissa? 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 Brandy? Brandy? I have Kendall.
Here.
Tara?
Here.
Tara?
Arya, I'm here.
Oh, no, Tara Brown. Miss Tara Brown, are you here? Tara Brown, are you here? No. Okay, I see Mr. Court, right? Carter? Carter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see Kanisha. Kanisha? Oh, Kanisha is here? Oh.
Kanisha just joined.
Oh, okay. I see her name here, but she could not. Right. Let's see. I can see you here. Brian, right?
Here.
Kelly, Tiffany.
Here.
All right, Devon. Edwin. Edwin, are you here? Yadira. Jasmine, are you here? Okay, see Stephanie here. Mr. Hammond. Dana, you here, right? Dana?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. In completely, I see that. The air, I see that. I see you. Jacqueline, right?
Yeah, here. I'm here.
Okay, yeah. Well, you missed the other meeting, right?
Yeah, I had work scheduled those days, unfortunately, and I wasn't able to get off.
Yeah. Hillary, are you here? Hillary? Mr. Connell? Carla? Carrie, are you here? Hassan, Lauren.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, Lauren. Okay. Caitlin, Samuel, Kevin, Samantha. Okay. Aiden. Okay. Elizabeth. All right, that's all. I think all the rest. I have the.
You didn't call my name, sir.
I have your name. Rukaya.
Rukaya?
I
Yeah.
don't know if you got me.
I have your name too. Or huh? Who?
I don't know if you got me.
What's your
Ashley.
name? Ashley.
Ashley McAdie.
Yeah, I checked your name already.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Jasmine, are you
Hello.
here?
Did you get my name?
What's the name?
Tatiana Lee.
Oh, what's your last name?
Lee, L-E-E.
Oh, let me see here. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I think. Wow. Who's the next one? Who would like to do the next one? What's the name? Is that Kali, right? Kali?
Kelly?
Oh, Kaylee.
I can go next. Yeah, if no one else wants to go, then I can go next. I just thought maybe we might want a gap since our topics were similar back to back. But I don't mind going.
Yeah, I think it's better. I think you can share the screen only when it's important. There's some terminology that people couldn't recognize. You can share. Otherwise, I think it's better for
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Some of it'll overlap, so
yeah.
We can do that. Okay, I don't mind going right now. Everyone's ready.
Yeah, go ahead. Kaylee, right?
Kelly, yeah.
Oh, Kelly, okay, go ahead. Yeah, okay. So try to minimize to share the screen because we want to see your files, how you deliver your presentation this month.
Okay.
All right.
So you want me to go back and forth?
Kind of, but I think if it's important, you can share the screen. Otherwise,
okay,
it's better to see you how you express yourself, how you do your presentation, like in front of other people.
Okay.
So you do the same topic at yoga. I guess you could say it's like the traditional 4 yogas of Hinduism. And you show them how to practice yoga too, like you just mentioned recently.
I did include pictures that would hopefully help the listeners understand what in my explanations. They aren't pictures of me or anything, but they're pictures with legitimate sources, and I've cited them stuff. So
go ahead. Okay. Kaylee. Yeah.
Okay, so hi everybody, my name is Kelly Dodgen, and I'm going to be presenting to you the 4 yogas of Hinduism. I guess I should say that they're more like the traditional 4 yogas of Hinduism. So I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint right now so you guys can see my title screen. Okay. I didn't originally want to make my title this long, but I felt I needed to make it this long to kind of encompass everything I was going to talk about today. So that's why I added the subtitle at the bottom. So my topic is the 4 yogas in Hinduism and how they're practiced in relation to the human experience. So I hope that really kind of fills everyone in. So first, I just kind of want to talk about practicing yoga in a contemporary society, and that's just kind of like in our world today. There are many reasons, different reasons to practice yoga in really any different form, which we're really going to get more into whenever we talk about each of the 4 types today. My second bullet point is that yoga is practiced all around the world. And this is true. There are lots of places in America it's practiced. Obviously, we've already been over a few misconceptions that we have about yoga. But a few places that it is practiced in the US, there is a public school district in California that implements yoga classes twice a week for 30 minutes for elementary school kids to really just promote a healthy lifestyle, more or less, including with diet and with exercise. So even though that may not be maybe a true definition of yoga or what you could call traditional yoga in its practice, but at least that's some kind of progressive movement towards something different that people weren't normally accepting of just a few years ago. Another place that yoga is implemented is in South Africa. There's a school that implements meditation instead of discipline. So instead of telling kids to go to timeout or that they're going to have detention, they tell them to close their eyes and just really focus on their favorite color, or walking into a garden and picking a flower, like the prettiest flower you can think of. So that really helps kids kind of calm down and teaches them a different route to take instead of maybe acting out in class. Another thing I want to talk about is the different forms that yoga has taken in many years, and that's mainly going to be focusing here in the West and in the US. Just recently, I know I mentioned already, I'm in a class called Yoga and Philosophy, and recently I did a presentation on a few different types of American quote-unquote yoga, and one of them was goat yoga. So this woman who owns a farm with a bunch of baby goats on it decided that she wanted to kind of combine that with the practice of yoga and have that be kind of like a therapeutic and stress reliever for people, and people went for it. There was a 900-person wait list to practice yoga with goats, even though in the interview the woman stated that the goats were distracting and chewing on people's clothes and hair and things. And so that's not really a traditional sense of yoga either, but it is something different and more progressive, I think, in my opinion, more progressive than what we would have been doing just a few years ago and not even thinking about the word yoga at all. Does anyone have any questions or want to add anything about, or have anything to say about yoga in the US while we're still here? No? Okay. Okay. A brief history of the 4 yogas in Hinduism. So yoga has been in practice for thousands of years. Its origin is of Hinduism, even though the people of India did not originally start calling themselves Hindu or Hinduism as a term. It was given to them by another group of people. I can't remember off the top of my head, which is kind of embarrassing, but I'm going to move on. I do know it's been practiced for thousands of years. It does originate out of India and out of a religious sense, really. There are many texts in Hinduism that mention practicing yoga, like the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna really urges Arjuna on the battlefield to really confront his problem that he's facing, and he gives him 3 different types of yoga as an option to follow, which we will get into later. But the point of that is to show that this practice has been around for thousands of years. It's in sacred texts, and there are multiple paths and proof of that. And there are 4 main types of yoga practice, which we're going to get into right now. All right, so karma yoga. Karma yoga is the way of action with good intention. Karma literally translates from Sanskrit to action, and basically whenever I say action with good intention, I really mean acting with the best intentions possible and acting without expecting anything in return at all. It's really, and it's not even like acting because you know it's the right thing to do. It's genuinely feeling that you're doing the right thing. And to take the Bhagavad Gita, for example, Krishna urges Arjuna to practice karma yoga because he's faced with a dilemma that on one hand may seem unethical, but on the other hand is going to save thousands of lives and is totally ethical. So that action with right intention and doing the ethical thing is really going to be the right path and the idea of karma yoga in this aspect. And he really emphasizes that any action that you take or do is going to be better than no action taken at all. So does anyone have any questions about karma yoga? Okay.
Wait, I have a question, Kelly.
Yes.
What if the action's bad? Like,
I'm gonna stop sharing the screen for a second. Okay. Pause share. Oh, stop share. Okay. So you said, what if the action is bad?
Yeah. So how is a neutral action? How is a bad action better than a neutral action?
Because if you're not acting at all, then you aren't putting anything or contributing anything into the universe at all. So the whole idea of, we're going to get into this more later, but the whole idea of really practicing yoga is it is like a method. It's a tool to use to realize not only like God is everything in the universe, but that is also inside of you. Like you're connected with the divine always. It's always inside of you. Yoga is a tool to kind of help you recognize that connection. So if you aren't acting or putting any action into the world at all, then that means you have 0 chance of finding that connection. Because at least if you're acting in bad action, then you're putting something into the world. You're accumulating some type of karma. Because although karma yoga is different from the idea of karma itself in Hinduism, it still, I think, connects in some way. This is like my personal opinion. I think they connect in some way or shape or form because it has to fall back on you as a person and your actions in general, because whatever you do in this life is going to affect you in the next. So even if you're committing bad action, that's still something to put into the universe that will carry on. If you're not acting at all, then you're not putting any energy, you're not putting any karma, because you want good. You want good and bad. You want a balance. Your karma is like a bank. You want to kind of even that out.
Gotcha.
Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I was really thinking about like specific like karmic, like only putting good to get good out, but like you said, it can't be 100%. It has to be like a spectrum.
Yeah, you need the good just as much as you need the bad, and vice versa. Definitely.
Got it.
Does
Thank
anyone
you.
else? Oh yeah. Does anyone else have any other questions?
So, but I think it's better for you to present everything from beginning to the end, and after that we can go back to you.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's interruption.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I think it's better just stay here. I think we want to see your face most of the time.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure everyone's following me because I feel like I go kind of fast. But okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Please do from beginning down to the end, and
okay.
Don't share the screen much, okay?
Okay, I'll just go back to where we were.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Unless you want to explain about some terminology, you can switch back to the screen. Otherwise, we want to see your face.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so Bhakti Yoga is our second type of yoga we're gonna go over today. Bhakti literally translates to devotion. It's really like prayer, worship to any specific deity of your choice. So I'm going to explain the picture really fast before I stop sharing the screen to kind of go into more of deities. So in the picture here, I kind of put this picture here just to kind of hopefully give like a visual representation of what I'm talking about. So this act of worship here is called puja, and it's basically offering like fruits and flowers and other nice colorful things to any deity of your choice. This particular deity, I think that's Krishna, and he's with one of his consorts. There's other golden statues in the picture that you can see below as well. So let's see here. Stop. So deity of your choice, that means that you can pick any deity to worship if you're practicing bhakti yoga, because as long as you're worshiping God in some form, then you're basically doing right action. So Hinduism is monotheistic because Hinduism also believes that since everybody has God inside of them and everything is the divine, then whatever deity you worship, you're going to be worshiping God regardless. And that's why like Christianity is okay and Jesus is okay to be worshipped and everything like that in the eyes of people who are Hindu, just because that's an act of worship to God. As long as you're like dedicating yourself and doing that rightness to God, then that's considered an act of worship. Bhakti yoga, it really depends on the person. For the deity of choice, you can worship more than one deity at a time if you wish. Like I said, it really depends on the person and your individual influence. Like Ganesh, the deity who has an elephant head, I believe he is for wealth and protection and things like that. So you could find him in people's homes or in a window or something like that. Usually for worship and for offerings, it's fruit and flowers. You probably, like if you ever go to a Hindu temple, you can see the garlands of like the fresh flower petals like strung onto string. They're really beautiful. They look like little leis, like that you would see in Hawaii, but they're made of real flower petals. So I'm just gonna pull up my presentation here so I can look at it, even if you guys can't, so I know where I'm at. So that's Bhakti Yoga. Our next yoga is Raja Yoga. I'll go ahead and share the screen so that way you guys can see my picture, because this one's a little bit more complicated, I think, in that it's probably the most recognized yoga here in America. All right, so Raja Yoga. Raja translates from Sanskrit as ruler, and this is because yoga used to only be practiced by the ruling caste, or like the upper castes in India, which do include the Brahmins, which is the priestlyhood. And so the Brahmins used to really be the only ones who were able to interpret sacred texts like the Vedas and practice yoga and really be knowledgeable about the subject until it became available for everyone to practice. And now everyone knows the stories and knows the texts, and they're shared. And everyone can practice Raja Yoga if they wish. But I do think that that's where Raja, the ruler, comes from. It's a yoga of physical activity. So the picture that I have here, this is a Surya Namaskar, and that means a sun salutation. This is probably like the most basic form of a sun salutation that I could find for you guys that was like easy to see. It does start at the top where he's doing the forward fold there, at where it would strike 12, and it goes clockwise. So yogis in the morning will do hundreds of these if they need to. But in my yoga class at Lone Star, we did 3 in the morning. But I do think it's a great way to like wake up your body and everything like that. And just to get like nice stretches. As you can see in the step-by-step of his stretch, you can see that it's stretching basically every part of his body. So that is why I think it's called a sun salutation. You go up and you come down. It's like a full rotation. It's a full day. And so Raja Yoga is also known as Hatha Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. It's more widely known as Hatha Yoga in the US because Raja Yoga really is not just physical postures. It also includes like the meditative aspect with the breathing. Breathing, it's called pranayama. And there are multiple different breathing exercises you can do. You can do alternate nostril breathing, or you can just do deep belly breathing or deep chest breathing where you fill your lungs completely and exhale. So that all of those aspects fall under the umbrella of Raja Yoga. So it really like trickles down to Hatha Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga whenever you get to the US, because the US really just kind of uses like physical postures and physical aspects of yoga to kind of aim it more at a marketing towards exercise instead. So that's where like the physical postures come in. So Hatha Yoga is more like the yoga centers you would see that are just like teach basic yoga, where you'd probably learn a sun salutation. But Ashtanga Yoga, you might learn sun salutations, but that's going to be more like what people know as hot yoga, where you like sweat while you're stretching. It's an intensive form of yoga where you're going much faster and not really following your breath as much as you would with Raja Yoga. So, moving on. Okay, so Jnana Yoga is the yoga of knowledge. Jnana also translates from Sanskrit into knowledge. It is seeking the ultimate and the absolute truth, regardless of who's watching, I guess. So this requires I think this is like the most intensive of all 4 yogas, and I think it's also one of the hardest yogas to understand, just because it requires so much work. And although yoga is a personal journey regardless and requires your personal attention, this particular yoga will require all of your attention. It doesn't stop. You're always learning new things, just like in karma yoga, where you're constantly having to practice action with good intention. Jnana Yoga, you're constantly learning. It doesn't stop. Everything is a lesson, and seeking the ultimate truth and the knowledge that's available to you through Hindu's texts is what's going to be most important. Whereas Raja Yoga and Bhakti Yoga can be practiced at particular times of the day or times of your choosing, or once a week if you really want to. It doesn't really matter for that. The picture I have here is of the Mahabharata, and this is a traditional epic in Hinduism that actually the Bhagavad Gita comes from. The Bhagavad Gita is just a portion of the Mahabharata. So I think this picture is really neat because I guess it's a photograph of the original text that was found or something along those lines. But I liked it because it included the picture of Krishna in there too, which is obviously he's in the Bhagavad Gita too, since this is a part of the Bhagavad Gita. All right. And my conclusion is that there are a ton of misconceptions about yoga. But as we've just learned, there's a lot of traditional aspects to yoga that people leave out in a yoga class that you might practice here in the U.S. I'm sure they don't mention that there's other types of yoga or other things you can do, since yoga is known as more of an alternative medicine. The traditional 4 yogas, they're different methods, but they're the same goal. Even though they're vastly different, they're all different paths. And as I said in the beginning, they're really different tools to use to your disposal to reach the same goal. And Samadhi is the goal of basically recognizing that connection that you have with God. And that's what yoga is to do. Yoga is to join you with that divine connection, because it's always inside of you. You just don't recognize it. Yoga is that tool to help you do that. And lastly, I really want to emphasize that yoga is an incredibly personal journey. No one can tell you what yoga to practice, and vice versa. You can't tell somebody else that the yoga that they're doing isn't right or working for them, because yoga is completely personal. Whether you practice Karma yoga, Bhakti yoga, Raja yoga, or Jnana yoga, any one of those, they have the same goal. As long as you're doing them with the best intention that you know how, and as long as you're practicing that to your fullest extent, and you know what you're doing is right, and you feel that connection with God, and it's personal, then you're in the right place. And then these are my references. These are a lot of great books that I highly recommend. The first one was our textbook from the class. The second one is the Panjali's yoga book. It is really good, and it has a lot of good commentary in it as well. The other books listed there are books that I've just owned personally and read that I also recommend. And then I have my source for my photos as well, which are some great websites I recommend checking out if you want to learn more about the topic or any of the other terms and language used. And then if you have any questions or comments, you can definitely email me. I put my full name there in case anybody has any questions and they need to contact me on Facebook or LinkedIn. And then that's my email address there, just my first name .dodgen@hotmail.com. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Stop sharing now.
Yeah, any question for her?
Yeah, does anyone have any questions or comments or any concerns, or if I'm pronouncing
I don't know why I'm hidden, but okay, sure.
Kimberly, you can turn on. Kimberly, you can turn on the video.
Oh, let's see. Why isn't it working? Oh, there it is. Okay,
right. Yeah. So, Kaylee, can you show them the breath yoga? Is this different?
Oh yeah.
Breath meditation.
Yeah. So each of the fingertips on your hand represent different elements, but I think the best ones to do it with are like this. I think this is fire and this one is air. I could be wrong. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, if you want to do the alternate nostril breathing, you can also use your thumb and the inside of your index finger. It doesn't really matter. So you're going to start by inhaling through the right or through the left, whatever one I guess you prefer. You're going to inhale and then close and then release out the other nostril. And then you inhale again through the nostril you release from. And then you switch and you exhale out the other side. And this helps me so much with migraines, any sort of headache I might have, it helps me with, or if I'm like feeling like really hot, like overheated, it helps me cool down a lot too. So whenever you're breathing in oxygen like that straight to your dome, straight to your brain, you're building brain cells. So you're becoming smarter. So you want oxygen flowing in your brain, and you're also helping your lungs because you want to fill up your lungs with as much air as possible. And then whenever you exhale, it's good to think of like some sort of negative energy or like dark energy, like exhaling from you, as if like something bad or like some sort of negative stuff is leaving your body completely. And whenever you inhale, you could think of your favorite color as some sort of bright light. So that way, not only are you doing like the action physically, you're also mentally prepping yourself for what you're doing. So that way your brain is making the connection with your action that you're inhaling good, exhaling the bad. And then it kind of I don't know. It makes me feel better. I highly recommend the alternate nostril breathing. And then just breathing in general. You can do stomach exercises, which is basically trying to force the air to inhale past your lungs through your stomach. So your stomach kind of expands, and then whenever you exhale, you feel it sink back in. And then same with your lungs. Whenever you do the lung breathing, you inhale completely and you feel your chest expand. And then whenever you exhale, your chest collapses. I think a good rule of thumb for breathing is if you can breathe in for 3 seconds, try to exhale as long as 6 seconds. And then just try and go up from there. I think I can exhale for 12 seconds, I think last time I counted. Because you want your exhale to be slow and gradual because you're not trying to focus on anything besides your breath.
Okay, thank you. Any question for her?
That was helpful.
Actually, I have a lot of questions for you. Any
Oh,
question
yeah?
for her? Yeah.
Whenever you were talking about the elements in your hand, does it have something to do with like putting your thumb on your...
It does.
So
Yeah,
like a different finger.
So I don't know them off the top of my head, which is incredibly unfortunate. But I do know that fire will definitely give you energy. Air will cool you down. Different things like that. You can definitely like research it because in Hinduism there are like elements in the universe that are like specific and create everything, like tamas and rajas and swatas. Something like that. It would be like a whole other presentation, but I definitely recommend researching it because it does help me a lot. So I recommend it to everybody. Breathing is good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any question for her? Thieng, you still here? Thieng?
She might have.
Yes, I'm still here.
I forgot.
Yes.
Can you define what's the meaning of yoga? Sorry, I will switch back to you, Kelly. Okay, let me ask what the meaning of yoga. I think Bob, you missed that. The meaning of yoga
is yoke and unite, right?
To join, to make the connection between you and the divine, because the divine is everything.
But the root meaning of yoga, what does it mean? The root meaning, basic meaning.
To yoke?
Yeah, to yoke. What's meant to yoke?
Yeah, she had that written in her presentation, but I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead. Tell them what's mean by yoking.
Yeah. So for me, to yoke is like to have the connection, right? Or like to carry, kind of carry.
How about Kelly? Is that right?
I think it means to, I guess like to find the connection, but also to, whenever I think of yoke, like I'm trying to think of like the way I used to try and remember it so I wouldn't forget this, but of course I forgot it because it's an awkward term. But to kind of like yank that out of you, to like use yoga as the tool to form that connection. To not really to like to form the connection because it's there, but more like to recognize, to yoke it. Is that right? I don't know.
Yeah. To activate.
To activate.
Activate.
To trigger your energy.
Yes, to trigger.
To trigger.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why this term you need to understand deeply before you move on to different types of yoga, right?
Yes, thank you. So like Kelly said, like it's inside of you, but you don't know. So it's like trigger to have the
and
the
like
divine inside of you.
Yeah, like Carrie just mentioned that actually you need to balance out the bad karma and good karma. Is that Kelly?
Yeah, that was me.
So now let me. So I think Kimberly just asked that actually at the beginning that you need to do more good this, but you say, oh, you can do the bad this to balance now. Is that right?
Oh, I mean, it's not that you should do the bad. It's more like the bad is almost inevitable, just like the good is. it's kind of like whenever people say like you don't know what happiness until you're sad, or you don't know what love is until you've had your heart broken. Like that's kind of how I interpret it.
Okay. Otherwise, people think that, oh, well, I do the good this now. In other times, I would do something. So my good is balanced out.
People think that.
Yeah.
Just because instant karma may not affect you in the Hinduism belief, but it will affect you in the next life and in your next generations. And so that's basically the belief in the incentive for doing the right thing.
Okay. So the last question I ask you then. So you say that actually, do you need to worship or follow Hinduism in order to practice yoga? Because somehow in the line that you say that that you have to pray for deities while you do.
And bhakti yoga, that's just one form of yoga. Like that's really like if you wish to practice a deity, but in Hinduism I don't think that there's really anything that requires you to practice worshiping any sort of deity, because you're God and the universe is God, and trying and attempting to form that connection, I think, is what's going to be most important. And if you use worshiping a deity to make that connection with God, then that's your method of choice.
So this is personal choice, right? This is not the
it's not required.
Requirements. Okay.
Right.
Then actually, I have a lot of questions, but I want to move on to the next student.
Okay. You can email me.
Actually, I have a lot of questions for you too.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's good. Thank you. Thanks for your presentation.
Yes, thank you.
And keep up with your practice. Right. And how long have you been practicing yoga then?
It all kind of started, my mom passed away when I was 8 of pancreatic cancer. And so my grandmother, she was really trying to like look for a lot of different ways to help me cope with different things. And we tried therapy, and I really wouldn't like talk to people or open up that much. And so she put me into like a meditative, it was called Mind, Body, and Soul Yoga. And I think she put me in that class when I was 14 years old.
Wow.
And it really wasn't a lot of physical postures. Like we did rarely any. I was definitely the youngest person there. Everybody there was like 40 and above. And they all thought it was like so funny that I was there. But I probably went there for like 3 years after that. Just doing like those meditative exercises, because I just really found that it helped me. And my teacher there was just like a really nice person, and she just was really helpful and showed me a lot of different things about different ways of life, and just really helped me kind of like break the barrier I was feeling when I was younger. I felt like I couldn't break out of what I had been raised in and things that I had been through my whole life. And she really just helped me kind of break that wall down and like let me in to tell me, you know, like there's other coping methods, there's other things you can do. Like this isn't just a way of life. Like this is something that you can practice every day and really like utilize and share with other people. So it just really helped me a lot. And it also helped that she made her own teas, and we had hot tea every day after class. And so we talked a lot during those times too, but that's kind of how it all started, really.
That's good. And how about this class? There's information that you learned from this class?
Definitely.
Practice?
Yeah, so the Hinduism portion of the class, like since this is kind of like encompassing all Eastern religions, or main Eastern religions at least, the Hinduism portion, I was glad it was like the first few weeks, because I was like, I feel like I already know this, but that's okay with me. But I definitely learned a lot about other religions, especially towards the end. Like I didn't know anything about Sikhism, Confucianism, or Shintoism. So all of that was incredibly interesting to me. And I was like looking forward all semester to like read those chapters in the book and stuff like that. Because I'm not going to return my textbook. I'm going to keep it. I decided because I liked it. But yeah, I learned a lot of new stuff about other Eastern religions I didn't think I was going to get to learn about or take a class about. So that was really exciting.
Wow, that's good. Thank you. Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, thank you.
So please, if you don't have to go early, so please stay back after Stephanie. Stephanie, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So after Stephanie finish the presentation, please stay back. I'd like to ask you some questions before we end. Actually, not only this session, but this semester. Okay. And actually, somehow I forgot to send you the comment forms so that you can give the feedback for your friends. But please stay back, okay? Please stay back for a few minutes after Stephanie. All right, go ahead, Stephanie. Can you, again, we want to see your face more than the PowerPoint, okay?
Okay.
We want to see how you express yourself, how you present the topic. All right,
Okay.
if it's necessary, you can switch to the PowerPoints, but try your best to stay with the screen. All right, go ahead. It's your turn now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name's Stephanie, and I did my presentation over Confucianism. So let me share my screen. Okay. So I called it Confucianism, a social order to civil religion. And the picture I included right here is, it means water in Chinese, but it's usually associated with Confucianism. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys. So for the introduction, Confucianism is the religion of nearly 6 million adherents. This particular school of thought, while not as popular as Hinduism or Buddhism, has an interesting story. So I'm going to explain the origins of Confucianism and give a detailed history of its founder, Confucius. And in my presentation, I'm going to analyze and explain how Confucianism has influenced the culture of China and surrounding countries. We're going to study the main tenets of Confucianism and what is expected of its believers. And we're going to discuss how Confucianism is practiced on a daily basis. So I included a picture here of the Great Wall of China. I just thought it was very like distinguishing of China. So, okay. So Confucius developed his ideas during a time of political struggle, moral chaos, and intellectual conflict. So there was no order at the time, and he believed that returning to the traditional ways was the only way for society to get back on track. So he lived during the Zhao dynasty, and the Zhao dynasty in particular was involved in a lot of serious conflicts, like politically. So he was a very practical person, and he didn't seek consolation in anything of the world. So he wanted to seek a solution for the challenges of his time. So he wanted to cure society because everyone thought it was sick. And then, so this is a picture of an ancient Chinese warrior. This is just how I pictured what they would look like at that time. So Confucius was born in China in the year 551 BCE. He lived during a time of political turmoil, like I explained earlier. At the time, China was divided into several independent kingdoms, and they were each fighting for dominance. So because of this, a lot of people were dying from hunger. There was a lot of displacement, death, because of the fighting. And Confucius wanted to bring peace and order to society. He wanted to accomplish his goal by serving as a high minister in the government, but he was never able to obtain such a position. So instead, he just taught others how to live in harmony with the people around us. And these are the teachings that have really permeated Chinese society. And he is known as being one of China's greatest social philosophers and teachers. If you haven't figured it out already, this is Confucius. So I guess I'll switch my screen back to me since you want to see me. Can you see me?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Confucius was born in Khufu, which is located in present-day the Shandong province. And this particular place is noted for its preservations of the traditions of ritual and music of the Zhao dynasty. So his last name was actually Kong, and his first name was Qiu, but he is known in history as Kongzi or Kongfuzi, which is really interesting. So it is recorded that his ancestors were actually very rich, but up until the time that he was born, they became poor. So he grew up in a poor family. And his father died when he was only 3 years old, And then when he was about 23, he also lost his mom. So I think it's very inspiring to learn that, you know, he didn't let any of these things affect his life, and he still, like, he was able to impact China and a lot of countries in such a positive way. I think that's very inspiring. We can all learn something from that. But at the young age of 15, he dedicated his life. He just wanted to learn new things. He wanted to learn more about life, about the people around him. And then he also got married and he had a child at one point. But there's not that much information about all that. They don't really focus about those things. Okay, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Okay. So that was that slide. Okay. So the teachings of Confucius, they have come down to us through the Analects. The Analects include aphorisms and anecdotes that are to believe to have been compiled by Confucius's students. During the Han Dynasty, Confucianism was regarded as being the most dominant political ideology. So this is when the Analects were given that name and they were known as being the Analects. But in the year 175 CE, the Analects were carved onto stone tablets, and the pieces that have survived since then have been re-edited. So it's important to know that scholars are really uncertain on whether or not the Analects contain the true message of Confucius. I mean, they don't really know, but it's accepted as being the most reliable source of the things that he used to say and what he believed. So the Analects have become part of one of the 4 books that are tested in Chinese civil service examinations. Zhu Xi is responsible for giving the text authoritative status. And the other 3 books are the Book of Mencius, The Great Learning, and the Doctrine of the Mean. So, and then this is a picture of the Analects. So just some more information about it. There's some Confucius ideas that have been subject to reinterpretation. The Analects were not written in a systematic way, they're more poetic. So that's why there are several interpretations. So if a ruler sets himself right, he will be followed without his command. If he does not set himself right, even his command will not be obeyed. So we find that in Analects 13:6. And then there's the superior man wants to be slow in word, but diligent in action. That's Analects 4:24. And I transmit, but do not create. I believe in and the love of the ancients. I venture to compare myself to our old Ping. And that's in Analects 7:1. So just to recap, the Analects are the teachings of Confucius that consist of some pieces of dialogue as well between Confucius and his followers. So the book is known as being a discussion of what he thought, you know, his ideas. I said that earlier. But they weren't actually collected by his students, which explains why they're not in order. They're not in chronological order, and sometimes they don't seem to be connected with one another. So it's just kind of random. But there's 3 versions of the Analects. There's Lu and Qi and the ancient texts of the Analects. So Lu and Qi, they seem to be very similar. They share a lot of the same like wording and stuff. But the Great Learning is one of Confucianism's 4 books. And the 4 books were picked by Zhu Qi to serve as the base of Confucianism. His intention was to purge it actually of Buddhism and Taoism. So the Doctrine of the Mean is a text that focuses on perfection, and the ultimate goal is to maintain balance. And one of the main emphasis is to not be overindulgent, and it's divided into 3 parts: the access, the process, and the perfect word / sincerity. Okay. So virtues of Confucian ethics. There are 5 main virtues in Confucianism. So the first one is Ren, which is humaneness; Yi, which is righteousness or justice; Li, which is carrying out rights; Zi, which is proper knowledge; and Zin, which is integrity. And these are all considered to be mandatory. You can't really get around them. And I included a picture of the 5 virtues written in Chinese. So some Confucian principles, okay, he stressed the importance of social rituals and humaneness. Humaneness is known as Ren, like I said earlier. It can also be translated to love or kindness. When performing a ritual, Ren keeps its ethical content. So it nurtures your inner soul, your inner character. The outer side of Confucianism is more like conformity and like acceptance of social roles, whereas the inner side is cultivation of conscience and character. So character is cultivated through education and reflection on our actions. That's what he believed. So Confucius believed that each leader must exercise self-discipline in order to remain humble and treat their followers with the respect that they deserve. And then that we also must lead by example. He also believed that Ren should be utilized when, like he had the golden rule: what you do not wish for yourself, do not do to others. And his philosophy of education focused on several aspects. He thought that every instructor should teach people to live with integrity. So Confucianism and God. In Confucianism, there's no centralized belief in God. He's not the main concern for Confucian. Whether he exists or not doesn't really affect Confucian theory. It doesn't really hurt Confucianism or take anything away from it. Instead, they believe in a force known as the Tao, or the great ultimate. So Confucius attributes creation to the Tao and claims that this force flows through life and allows for change. And it's really interesting because he actually speaks of heaven several times, but he speaks of it as being a positive force. So, and it's the ultimate judge of right and wrong, and it serves as the guiding force for the universe. But this idea is very different from other theistic religions because usually people, like in Christianity and Islam, we don't consider heaven to be like a guiding force. It's like we think about the afterlife, like to go be with God. So he taught that the Tao brought the universe into being along with the yin and yang forces, but it's very common to see people who are from different religious traditions, but they hold to Confucian principles. So it's very common to see people who are like Confucians who convert into Buddhism or Christianity, but they still follow Confucianism because it's not necessarily a religion. So since we established that it's not a religion, the Confucianists don't pray. It doesn't offer it only offers a philosophy on how to live your life. So Confucius wasn't a religious man who advocated for religious doctrine. With that being said, most Confucians are atheists. So there are Confucian temples actually, and they consist of buildings, halls, and shrines. And each temple has like spirit tablets that are dedicated to Confucius, and several others that are dedicated to other Confucius scholars. But specifically in Beijing, scholars who have passed the Imperial Civil Service exam are honored. So you can make offerings at the altars, and those are located inside of the temples as well. So beliefs on the afterlife. Confucius was not as concerned for the afterlife as he was for life on earth. He was mostly interested with an individual's morality, and he wrote several pieces on political, philosophical, and moral thought. Death was one of the topics that he didn't speak much of. However, like, we should understand that Confucius, he didn't reject the belief of an afterlife. He just thought that we shouldn't look for the rewards and being good. We should look for here and now. Be good for the sake of being good. Don't think to be good so that one day you'll get something in return. So he believed in the preservation of an individual's soul, and its continued practice even after death. He explained that mankind doesn't even understand everything there is to know about life, and so we're very limited in our understanding of the afterlife. So Confucius taught that ancestors are to be venerated regardless of the individual beliefs in life after death. Confucians have been taught to live life in the manner that, you know, our descendants one day will honor us and the decisions that we have made. So this is another factor why Confucianism is not considered really a religion, because there's no belief in God or the afterlife. So Confucius on relationships. He believed that the family is crucial to humanity. He had no belief in an individual self or soul. A person is defined through their roles and relationships with one another. He believed that the goal of living is to achieve harmony with one another, especially harmony within the family. So he believed that if you have harmony within the family, you will eventually extend that harmony into other aspects of your life. So you'll bring it into your work, your relationships with your friends, and, you know, every aspect. And then the way we treat our family shows how we will treat others. In short, having harmony in the family leads to harmony in other relationships outside the family. When we have conflict in our family, we tend to carry that into other aspects of our life. So according to tradition, once the father passes away, the children are supposed to obey or honor their oldest brother. And on this topic, Confucius said that never disobey while they are alive, serve them according to ritual. When they die, bury them according to ritual, and sacrifice to them according to ritual. And then Confucius believed that the government was created for the people. So they are supposed to be responsible for their citizens. And if our leaders live by the highest principles, then the citizens will follow by that example. And that those who are not in power are to be loyal to those who are. And he also once stated that it is said that if good people work for a country for 100 years, it is possible to overcome violence and eliminate killing. And that this saying is indeed true. So he believed that education would be the means in which a good society is attained. So in the PowerPoint, I just kind of summarized that: kindness in the father, obedient devotion in the son, gentility in the eldest brother, and humility and respect in the younger, righteous behavior in the husband, and obedience in the wife, humane consideration in elders and deference in juniors, benevolence in rulers, and loyalty of ministers and subjects. So the influence on East Asian culture. Confucianism has been prominent throughout China specifically for thousands of years. It still has significant influence in politics and economics in China today. So Confucian beliefs have been the most basic mainstream value of Chinese people. So some of the values include like justice, honesty, shame, love, loyalty. And the countries of Korea and Japan are also greatly influenced by Confucianism. So several different religions are practiced in Korea, but they still hold to Confucian ethics and rules. The Korean government uses Confucianism as a way to maintain social stability in the country. So Confucius was given the title as a person of exemplary virtue of all ages. In places such as Taiwan, they even have a festival on the day of his birth. So, in China, we have the largest Confucius Institute, and there are more than 1,000 Confucian institutes and classrooms in over 120 countries. So Confucius represents China, basically. And actually, the Communist Party is very accepting of Confucianism, to the point where that Confucius has replaced Mao Zedong as the country's icon, which is very interesting. But his image is conveyed a little bit differently than what we see in the Analects. The Communist Party, they really emphasize loyalty and obedience. So they have used the ideas that are found in Confucianism to support their ideology. So instead of them memorizing the Red Book, they now memorize the Analects. And Actually, in the year 2011, a statue of Confucius was placed in the center of Beijing, but they actually removed it a little while after that because there's a lot of tension between people like those who follow Mao Zedong and those who follow Confucius. Oh. Okay, so Confucianism in Korea. Confucianism originally appeared in China, like we discussed, but surrounding countries have their own forms of Confucianism. For example, in Korea, they have developed their own ideas and views of Confucianism. They even seem to be less researched than China is. So the hierarchy is very essential to Korean society. So they really go by people being subject to other people. So children must show respect to their parents, and Confucian values on hard work and the common good have greatly influenced Korean society. They had a financial crisis back in 2009, like the whole world did, and Korea actually experienced like rapid recovery. They were able to grow their economy by about 6%. So, and this is something that is really unimaginable in the United States, and it's really because of Confucianism. It brought the country together, and they worked together for the common good. Okay. So Confucianism is so deeply rooted in some East Asian cultures that it can't be separated from other mainstream religions. For example, those who profess to be Muslim, Christians, and Taoists still practice the beliefs and ideals of Confucianism. It is rarely thought of as an organized religion since it lacks some of the most important components. It is a powerful philosophy nonetheless, and it has changed the dynamics of China. But by studying the Analects of Confucius, the book of his sayings, we can really learn what it means to be a Confucius. And these are some of my sources. And thank you guys for listening. With any questions, you can email me or you can ask me right now.
Can you turn off the share the screen? You forgot to switch back.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I only did it once.
Oh yeah, I'll wait for you. Okay, any question for her? Any question for her? Okay, I have a lot of questions for you. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, you know why? Why Chinese communists spread Confucianism around 120 countries? You know why?
Why did they spread Confucianism to other countries?
Why?
I think because they focused on like certain aspects of it to make the people more obedient and loyal to like the oppressive governments that they had, so that people like wouldn't rebel, and you know.
Do you understand about the soft power?
Say that again.
You understand what's mean the hard power and soft power? Like soft or hard, you know what's mean?
No.
No. Any one of you understand what I'm talking about? So why don't they export communism instead of Confucianism? Stephanie, you understand that? You may not know.
Yeah, but I don't know.
They try to have that type of war influence because they know that somehow we can say that communism is outdated. This would not fit to the global mentality nowadays. And plus, on the top that they want to reach out to have some kind of soft power influence on other countries. Like in the United States, we export what McDonald's, KFC, and so forth. That's called soft power. You understand that? Right, so that's why they want to spread out this Confucian's concept, philosophy, and so forth. That is the Chinese style. Originally, the communism is come from the European people or European country. This is not the Chinese style. So that's why they want to have that type of good influence on other people, especially around the world, by using Confucianism. You got my points? And of course, on the top that, yeah, they want to spread that kind of loyalty and so forth. Of course, it's many factors, and you can count on the reason why they established the Confucian Institute around the world, especially United States. It's deal with politics. It's deal with all kind of reason. All right. So that's one thing I want to ask. Anyone want to ask her? You missed one important factor of important concept. You know, self, filial piety. You know that? That is very important when you talk about obedience. That it connect to self. Filial piety. Can you explain more about that so that your friends can recognize some terms or understand? What
I didn't really research that.
Anyone of you understand about filial piety? It's pretty important.
I know what that is.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I think we did like a discussion post about it. So it's having like the utmost respect for your elders, right? And your ancestors, and basically like the golden rule, but like for your ancestors and your elders, right?
Yes.
Kind of my extent on it.
How about others? You have any opinions about this filial piety? Why is one of the most important aspects of Confucianism? Why?
It's that, and then sharing it, like spreading that out to the community, right?
Yeah,
like
kind of.
Treating the community as good as you would treat your family.
Yes. Actually, Stephanie, she talked about obedience. Yes.
Sorry, I just realized. So isn't it because everything is like based on the parent and child relationship, and so that's going to be like the most important like basis of relationships. So that's why it's important.
Yeah. That's why Stephanie mentioned about the father and son relationship, the obedience, right? And the obedience,
and then it's like student teachers
and rulers. That's why communism. Chinese communists, they want to spread this concept so that they can control the mass, because they think they have the right to rule the people. You understand that? That's why they don't want to have any kind of uprising, any kind of force that go against their governments. And they try to keep people in control. Make sense? So that's why they bring up this important principle of Confucianism, the self of filial piety. Of course, this kind of concept or principle for people to have the stable families as well as stable community and society. That's for 1,000 years. That's why they use for 1,000 years in China, in Korea, in Japan, even in Vietnam.
I kind of took it as they want those people to have that groundwork of the utmost respect for your parents, and then even further your government and your rulers. They want everyone to have that groundwork in order to constantly have that respect and control.
Yes, yeah. So there's two sides of the coins. The impulsive side, that's good. That we have the stable family. When we have stable family, we have a stable community or society. That's one positive side. And I want to go follow this type of hierarchy or orders from the grandfather, father, and so forth. And even because I live in this type of society, I know that it's too much. And they say that without the fathers, the eldest brother will take care of everything. So it's everyone have to go follow that type of orders. And because that type of orders, we have stability in families as well as society and so forth. So that's one positive side. Then how about the negative side? Who knows what's the negative side of this kind of hierarchy orders?
Well, the communist government has taken advantage of the belief system in order to have control, because it's so deeply rooted in their belief system that they're able to take over and have that control over them.
Yeah, that's one of the negative aspects. And Stephanie, how about women in Confucian society? What is their status? You forgot to mention about that.
I was actually reading something about that the other day. I was reading that it's actually kind of controversial with women because they don't really have a place. Like they're kind of under men. Yeah.
You know why?
No, I don't know why.
Anyone has idea? So they saying that, let's say for the girls, when they're still young, they are in control. They are controlled by the parents. When they get married, they're controlled by their husband. And what happened when the husband passed away? Can they move on to remarry? They can, but it's pretty rare in the Confucian society. And according to Confucian principle, they need to follow the elder son. That means they don't have much freedom at all. Okay. All right. Anyway, so that's good. A lot of things I want to bring up. Anyway, so that's good. Thank you, Stephanie. It's pretty good presentation. But the two things you missed, right? The filial pieties and the woman status in Confucian society. All right, that's good. Thank you. Anyone have question for her? All right. I think we done for. I mean, that for all the. We have only 3 presenters today. Kanisha, you still here? Okay. So I think that's all. All right. So let me go back to each of you. Today is the last meeting that we have online, not Facebook, but online. So let me go one by one. About Lawrence, how much you learned from this class?
Oh, I learned a ton. Like, I didn't really know anything about anything other than Buddhism really before this class, and even that was very limited based on just what you learn in Western society about Buddhism.
Okay, good. So this is the most important thing that you learned from this class?
The most important thing? I think overall it just gave me a better understanding of like other religious bases other than Christianity.
All right, thank you. Yeah, before I move on to the next one, please, I send to you the evaluation forms as well as the copyright forms. Again, if you want to do it and send it back to me, especially for the copyright, when you post your PowerPoint, I mean that presentation, if you allow me to use this for the public or for the education, so you can sign your name and send back to me. Otherwise, it's your choice, okay? And even the evaluation form too, evaluation by my own usage, own preference, okay? Yeah. Any question?
I have a quick question.
Yes, go ahead, please. What's your name, please?
Elizabeth?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Hi, is anybody having trouble?
Can you
Anybody?
Can you repeat the question again? Your voice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is anybody having trouble uploading their presentation to YouTube?
You have problems?
Yes.
Oh, Kimberly, can you explain for her? Can you show her how?
What's the problem?
I have iMovie on my laptop, and so from iMovie, I'm trying to upload my presentation directly to YouTube.
Yes.
And
I'm on campus right now, and I'm in a pretty bad part, and I don't have very good internet connection, so maybe that's why.
That's exactly why. With my good Wi-Fi at home, it took over an hour.
Really?
Yes. So I wouldn't even try to do it unless you have stable Wi-Fi. It takes forever.
Did anybody else use iMovie?
I used iMovie.
You did? Okay. Did you save your presentation first and then upload it?
Correct. Yeah, I didn't trust the YouTube I felt like it was gonna crash midway. So I saved it on my desktop, and then as I saved it on my desktop, and then once it was saved, I uploaded it on YouTube. I just left my Mac running for an hour.
How long did that process take you with
An
good
hour.
Wi-Fi? An hour? Okay, because I'm in the middle of uploading it to YouTube right now, and I don't know how to stop.
Yeah.
Do you see the little on the top right, that little like the circle? You can hover over it and it shows you how many minutes you have left.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. I just want to mention like something too. We're supposed to upload it to the drive, the 365 thing. And then secondly, you can download a free compressor. So this will compress your your video file to make it way smaller.
That's true.
And even with compressing it, my upload to YouTube took like 30 minutes. But then again, you're supposed to put it to the 365 drive anyways. So YouTube's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, if you compress your video first, that would be the best thing to do, which is totally easy. You just put it right into a compressor.
What's the name of the compressor you used?
I'm not sure my specific one, but I know if you just Google it, like video compressor, you'll have a free one that'll just pop right up. And
video compressor.
Yeah, just 20% of the video file, and then it'll come all the way down to however long it is. But even then, it still took a while. So
how long did it take you?
It still took like 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, and it would have taken way longer. I upload videos all the time to YouTube. And I definitely recommend compressing before you try.
Compressing before I try. Gotcha. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you need help, right, you can call to a IT support center, or Kimberly, you're welcome to help you out, right? Or you can.
Of course, just email me. Yeah. My email should be available.
Can
Or
you
message
type
me
here?
on Blackboard.
Can you type your email here so that she can recognize?
How do I do that?
On the chat. Look for chat.
Oh, I can chat. Got it. I'll type it in right now.
Okay. How about the next one? About Elizabeth. Can you share with us how much you learned from this class, and what's the most important thing that you draw from this class, Elizabeth?
I'm with Lauren. I started from square one with this class. I knew nothing.
Okay.
But I did learn a lot. Like it was a very like personal experience for me, like learning what it meant to unhealthy things. And I really enjoyed majority of the class, and I learned a lot about myself, and I found all of it to be very interesting.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
About Tiana.
Yes.
Yeah, would you like to share how much you learned from this class, and what's the most important factors or concept or whatever in this class that you draw out?
I feel like I learned a lot about other religions. Honestly, didn't know too much about religions other than Christianity, and I didn't really know that much about Christianity, to be honest. So it was really insightful. I visited 2 temples because of the field trip report, so that was interesting to learn about because I'd never been to other religious temples before, so I enjoyed that.
Okay, you came to my temple or different temple?
I think it was 2 different temples.
Okay, is that the Hindu temple or Buddhist temple?
The first one, I forgot the name, but you said it really wasn't a Buddhist temple. It was like many other religions by the school, and then it was another one. It was like the Tian Hu temple.
Oh, okay, that's the Taoist temple. Yeah. Okay.
I also have a question about the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Is there a minimum amount of slides that we have to do, or is that not relevant?
I don't pay attention much about how many slides do you have, but I really concerned about how long you do. Is the minimum is 20 minutes. You can do 25, 30, an hour, doesn't matter with me, but don't do below that.
Okay.
All right, but please remember, it's not the PowerPoint alone, okay? You have to actually record your appearance.
Okay.
Like you stay in front of the class of all the people, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Do you have to upload to YouTube?
Yeah, please. It's better if you upload to YouTube and send the link to the discussion board so that I can give you the rate, okay? All right. So how about Matthew? What's your name? Matthew? Matthew, is that right? Yes.
Tiffany?
Tiffany.
Yes, but for some reason my name don't show up. Some weird name shows up.
Really? Oh, that's why. Wow. All right, go ahead, Tiffany. How much you learned from
I'm
this?
glad I caught that.
Yeah, go ahead, Tiffany.
Okay, I think I've learned a lot from this class. I've learned about the different religions and so forth, and it's given me a better understanding of like different cultures across the world, because I've learned a little bit about the Islamic culture, as well as I grew up with different types of Christianity and so forth. And I think it's really great how they all they're not exactly the same, but they all religions kind of go hand in hand in a sense. I mean, some have God, some don't, but it's all for the betterment of the people as a whole, I think. And I find that very interesting of how closely related a lot of the different religions across the world are not connected, but how they're all kind of go hand in hand, I guess you could say.
Overlapping.
Do what?
Overlapping,
yeah. And I find them very, very interesting. I like it a lot, and I'm very glad I took this class. I did learn a lot.
All right, thank you. About CFAR?
Yes.
Yeah, how much you learned from this one, and what's the most important concept or principle that you draw from this class? If you like to share.
So starting off, I already knew a lot
Yeah.
about
Go ahead.
Hinduism and Sikhism, but I didn't know anything about Confucianism or Shintoism. So those were two religions in particular that I really enjoyed learning about.
Okay, you know more about Hinduism.
Hinduism and Sikhism. I've been exposed to that a lot.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you see the common aspects of those religions?
Yeah, definitely.
Which are they?
So I did my presentation over yoga, and I've noticed that yoga is a very common trend among a lot of these religions through meditation and self-reflection and spiritual upliftment. So that's a very prevalent aspect in all of these faiths.
Okay, good, thank you. About Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found interesting about, more so I had an interest in the Buddhist temples that I visited. And I think in Western culture, specifically in North America, we pay close attention to our religions, whether that's Judeo-Christian or another form of Christianity that swings into other denominations, United Methodists and things like that. We think that that's the predominant religion and that our way of thinking is the best way. And I noticed in visiting the Buddhist temples, they don't focus so much on all of the things that we do, as far as gathering at one central time, like on a Saturday or a Sunday. There's not a big push to actually, I don't want to say celebrate their beliefs, but yet there is a texture that's there, that's sound. They have a sense of soundness, in that they go to the temple for a specific reason. Once that reason is accomplished, or that benefit that they receive from praying to whatever God that they pray to, they leave and go back into the world in a better emotional state, from what I was able to observe. Versus in most Judeo-Christian religions, if you talk to people, they've joined 4 or 5 different churches in their lifetime. it's like, Judeo-Christian religions are more transient. And it seems as though the Buddhist religion, again, they can set up a temple in their home and not necessarily have to go to a temple. So I learned how to be a little bit more open-minded to different religions, specifically with Buddhist religions, because again, I had this preconceived notion. I'm like, why are you going up in the temple and ain't nobody in there but you? And so it really was helpful in that way of taking away a lot of the stereotypes that I held. So that in that sense, this class has helped me to be open-minded to other religions.
And actually, while I'm listening to you, it's occurred to me that I want to ask you this question. You know why? Again, why most of Asian religions don't require their followers to go to the temples every Sunday or on Sunday? Why?
Well, I know from a Judeo-Christian belief, the Sabbath is not actually on a Sunday. Okay. It's actually a Saturday, but for, in my own religion, it's for convenience that it's a Sunday. And now even the Sundays don't work because of the fact that people are now finding things to do on Sundays. So.
No, I mean, go back to my question. Why don't they require their followers to go to the temples at certain times or certain day during the week? Why?
That I don't know. I would have to assume that it's because of the fact that it was never prescribed, and that prayer or meditation time can occur at any point in time in the day.
Okay, that's the point. Anyone want to put input on this response?
I want to say something.
Yeah.
I think that like our churches, I say our churches, a lot of the regular churches are closed during the week. You can only go to church on Sunday, whereas a lot of the temples are open for the people to come and pray anytime they want.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I like that.
Anyone has input?
Yeah, could it be something as simple as like access and travel, so people aren't able to, literally travel to this temple every or a specific time of week? They just had to remain in their own world, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's just one aspect, one reason. How about the other reason? How about the other important reason? Actually, Mr. Weber mentioned many times, but he didn't explain explicitly. Kimberly, you understand why?
I'm sorry, would you say you've been cutting in and out?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, my question is
I'm trying to mess with my Wi-Fi. I think it's me. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, my question is that why don't those Eastern religions require their followers to come to temple or center at certain time or certain day of the week, but for them they can come anytime? Why is that? Why?
I just think it's just the Eastern way of life. I feel like in the Westernized, we kind of put ourselves in constructs and boxes. Like, you can only come to church this time of day, you can only celebrate this time of day. I feel like in the East, it's a lot more, I wouldn't even say religion, but it's more spiritual. I feel like you are the own master of the way you live your spiritual journey. And I feel like it's not unfair, but it's not realistic to say that you have to come to temple or church this time of day. And that's what I would say I really love about the Eastern religion. Even booking, I wouldn't even say booking, but calling them to see when I can come for the field trip. I was like, what day are you open? They said we're open any day. What day are you free? And so it's more just making, not even religion, but making the journey work for you. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know there's why there isn't a specific time. Can you answer that? Because that's a good question. I have no clue myself.
Anyone has this answer for this question? Actually, you have to understand before you finish up this class. Otherwise, sometimes you may be confused too. Right?
Could it have something to do with money?
No, not much with money. The concept, the principle, and you have learned already. in this class. If you miss this one, actually you miss the important part of this class.
Is it the focus on the individual rather than?
That's the point. That's the point. Yeah. And in Hinduism, Sikhism, and other traditions, somehow, yes, they have their own god. Remember, in Hinduism, they have millions of gods, but they pick up the god that's more suitable for their needs, right? All right. So there's no need for them to go to the temple every Sunday or certain times of the day. So you can worship at home. Or for Buddhism, yeah, you can do meditation anytime, any minute, any second. That just calm your mind, and you have your own Buddha nature within yourself. So why you need to go out to seek for? You understand that? Okay. Or how about let me see who is still here. Is that Ashley? Yes. Ashley. How much you learned from this class then?
I learned a lot, especially compared to, so I'm a religious studies minor. I don't know, I'm sure a lot of y'all are too. In the intro class, we learned about a third of what we went into for this class, and I found it very interesting. At every single week we had discussions and papers due, because it actually made you like dive deep into the religion and understand more than what we learned in the intro class. And I found that class interesting too, but we never focused on a lot of the stuff that we did in this class. So I learned a lot more than I thought I was going to. And I found the most important, I told my family this, actually, I talked to them about this, that I feel like I have learned so much about being more open-minded towards other religions, because like others have said, in the US, and we kind of focus on the main religions, and we don't really learn in school about the things we learned in this class. And so whenever there are people who have different views than you, I had a friend who she pretended that she changed the term of her religion to things that we as Christians would understand. So like she would call going to the temple a church, just so that we would understand. And I feel that that's not really fair. So I learned a lot more about being open-minded to other religions and welcoming them, because I feel like in the US it's kind of closed-minded as to what we learn in school, at least what I learned. So
thank you. All right. So before I ask someone to give their opinions about what they learn, importance that they draw from this class. So how is my syllabus? How is the construction of the structure of my class? You guys enjoy that? Is this too much load, or medium size, or lesser, or what?
At first I was like a little bit intimidated by the syllabus, if I'm going to be honest, because it's like really long and really detailed. But then when I sat down and read through it, I really appreciated how detailed and how long it was. So I really don't have any complaints about it, because I think if it was any less detailed, I would have had to ask a lot of questions about assignments and stuff like that. So I appreciate how detailed it was really in the long run.
Yeah, that's point. That's why through many years of teaching, I compiled this kind of syllabus in detail so that you guys wouldn't have more problems.
Yeah, it was really easy to understand it broken down the way that it was, like day by day and like week by week, including like the pages what we're supposed to read each day. Like that was helpful too.
Yeah, but some students, they scare at the beginning. It's too long syllabus.
It's overwhelming. It's very overwhelming.
Yeah, it's intimidating at first, but if you read it, like I just decided to like take it day by day, and then I was like, this is better.
Yes, I provide that type of detailed guidelines and explanation so that you can follow that. As long as you follow the guidelines in the syllabus, you will be fine. All right. How about the workload? Is this too much for you guys, or
Yes.
medium size, or what?
It's way too much work.
Really?
I think that this class actually had more work than almost all my classes put together.
Oh, really?
I would have to disagree. I mean, I'm a history major, so I have a ton of papers and stuff just like this. I found that the fact that it was every single week, you knew exactly what you needed to do. that
I mean,
made
if you're
it
not used to
well,
writing a sentence,
I don't know,
I can understand
but
how overwhelming it is.
my classes tend to be like that.
But
Yeah,
one of the things,
go ahead,
it
Emily.
wasn't,
Kimberly, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Peter Weber.
it wasn't the fact, I think the second half of the writing portions, which are 2 assignments per week that are 200 words, 150 to 200 words with a works cited, it's more geared towards a writing in a discipline course.
Definitely.
And that's I think that's the disconnect. If it was a writing in a discipline class, I'd be amen. But because of the fact that a lot of the writing that we were doing, it doesn't count towards one of the cores. So I don't know how the university can fix that, because if you consider the number of writings that we did each week, or we're supposed to do each week, it would constitute a writing in the discipline course, especially when you consider especially when you consider
this was more writing than my WID course.
Right, especially considering that a lot of the things that were commented back on our grades were small grammatical errors. That's more of something that, we critiqued in writing in the disciplines. It was a lot of writing. It really, really is.
Professor, I love you, but you nitpick the heck out of it. It was every day, no matter how much I tried to rewrite it, I felt like I didn't do anything right, and I just kind of gave up midway. It's just like I saw other people read through it and they checked my grammar. I was like, am I crazy? Am I doing something wrong? But I don't know if you're just on top of grammar, but as college students, you're more focused on the content of our work. And if you want us to do more grammatical corrections, ask us to do less work. We have other classes that we have to do. And so if you want us to focus on one thing, then lower something else. But if you want our grammar and our grammar to be on point, like as you deducted my grades, you have to realize that that's just a lot to ask for somebody when we didn't sign up for writing the discipline class. And I think you should have more videos explain, because the reading is a lot. You can only read so much and it just starts to get to you. But when I was doing my research, I found so many awesome YouTube channels dedicated to Jainism, Shintoism, and Taoism that helped me learn more about the religions than reading it. So maybe with the readings, you should have a nice YouTube video that wraps up everything that you just said, because you can only read so much and write so much on an online class. But maybe I'm just me. I've been in school for 4 years, and I
think there were videos though.
Yeah, in the
there were
content
videos
folder, it says like it says like a content folder for each. And
you could watch videos.
So there's like YouTube videos and articles and stuff.
I didn't get them.
Maybe I
But I guess for me,
final paper. Do we have the? Because when I went on Blackboard, it says we have a final paper for our last week.
No, ignore it.
Okay.